12 Rules for Life, An Antidote to Chaos by Jordan Peterson, offers profound wisdom for navigating life's complexities through practical rules. Grounded in psychology, philosophy, and ancient wisdom, providing essential guidance for anyone seeking meaning, responsibility, and personal transformation in an increasingly chaotic world. Point 1. Stand up straight with your shoulders back represents far more than posture correction, serving as Peterson's foundational rule about projecting confidence and taking your rightful place in the world's hierarchies, drawing from lobster behavior and neurochemistry. Peterson explains how posture directly affects your brain's serotonin production, which influences mood, confidence, and how others perceive you. When you slouch or appear defeated, you signal to yourself and others that you occupy a low position in dominance hierarchies, creating a negative feedback loop where poor treatment reinforces low status and self-image. Conversely, standing straight with shoulders back sends a powerful message to your nervous system that you are capable, confident, and deserving of respect, triggering biochemical changes that improve mood and increase success likelihood. This rule extends beyond physicality to encompass psychological and spiritual straightening, encouraging readers to face life's challenges directly rather than cowering or avoiding responsibility. Point 2. Treat yourself like someone you are responsible for helping, reveals the paradoxical tendency humans have to care better for others than themselves. Peterson observes that people will diligently give their dogs prescribed medication while neglecting their own treatments, illustrating a fundamental problem in self-care and self-worth. This rule challenges readers to extend the same compassion and responsibility they show others to themselves, recognizing that self-neglect ultimately serves no one and diminishes your capacity to help others effectively. True virtue requires being strong and healthy enough to be genuinely helpful, rather than being a burden due to self-neglect. This means taking physical health seriously through proper nutrition, exercise, and medical care, while attending to psychological and spiritual needs through continuous learning, meaningful relationships, and purposeful activity. Point 3. Make friends with people who want the best for you addresses the crucial importance of surrounding yourself with individuals who support your growth rather than those who enable destructive behaviors. Peterson warns against maintaining relationships with people content to remain stuck in negative patterns simply because of shared history or misguided loyalty. True friendship involves mutual support for each other's highest potential, which sometimes means having difficult conversations and refusing to enable destructive behaviors, even when silence would be easier. This rule requires evaluating relationships honestly and recognizing that some people may be threatened by your attempts to improve, leading them to consciously or unconsciously sabotage progress through criticism, temptation, or emotional manipulation. Making friends with people who want the best for you requires developing the ability to recognize genuinely supportive individuals, and the courage to distance yourself from relationships that consistently drain energy or undermine efforts to build a better life. Point 4. Compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not to who someone else is today, provides a fundamental framework for personal development that avoids the destructive trap of constant social comparison. Peterson argues that comparing yourself to others is futile and actively harmful, because every person faces unique circumstances, challenges, and starting points that make such comparisons meaningless and demoralizing. This approach requires developing the ability to accurately assess your current situation and set realistic goals for incremental improvement, rather than expecting dramatic transformations overnight. The rule addresses the modern epidemic of social media comparison, where people constantly measure their reality against others' highlight reels, leading to inadequacy and depression. By focusing on personal progress rather than relative position, individuals can maintain motivation and satisfaction regardless of others' apparent success or achievements. Point 5. Do not let your children do anything that makes you dislike them, represents Peterson's approach to effective parenting that balances love and discipline to raise competent, likable children. The rule challenges modern permissive parenting philosophies that avoid setting boundaries out of fear of damaging self-esteem or stifling creativity. Peterson argues that children not taught appropriate boundaries and social skills become increasingly difficult to like, setting them up for social rejection and failure. Effective parenting requires the courage to correct inappropriate behavior immediately and consistently, teaching children that actions have consequences and certain behaviors are unacceptable regardless of feelings or desires. Discipline, when applied with love and consistency, is actually an expression of care that helps children develop self-control, social competence, and the ability to delay gratification for long-term benefits. Point 6. Set your house in perfect order. Before you criticize, the world challenges individuals to take responsibility for their own lives, before attempting to change or judge the broader world. Peterson argues that much social and political criticism stems from people as desire to avoid confronting their own problems by focusing instead on external issues that feel more manageable to address. The rule requires honest self-examination and acknowledgement of areas where you have control but have failed to exercise it effectively. Before engaging in activism or social criticism, Peterson suggests ensuring your own life demonstrates the principles and values you want to see in the world. This approach does not discourage social engagement, but ensures such engagement comes from a place of strength and integrity rather than resentment or avoidance of personal responsibility. Point 7. Pursue what is meaningful, not what is expedient, distinguishes between actions that provide immediate gratification versus those that contribute to long-term fulfillment and genuine satisfaction. Peterson argues that modern culture's emphasis on happiness and pleasure-seeking often leads people away from the more challenging but ultimately more rewarding path of pursuing meaning through responsibility and commitment to something greater than immediate self-interest. Meaningful pursuits typically require delayed gratification, sustained effort, and willingness to endure temporary discomfort for long-term benefits that extend beyond personal gain. This approach requires developing the ability to distinguish between superficial desires and deeper values, often through reflection, experimentation, and willingness to make mistakes and learn from them. Peterson emphasizes that meaning often emerges from taking on voluntary responsibility and working to alleviate suffering, whether your own or others. Point 8. Tell the truth, or at least do not lie, represents Peterson's fundamental principle for maintaining psychological health and building authentic relationships. The rule recognizes that while perfect truth-telling may be impossible, deliberately deceiving others or yourself creates psychological fragmentation and undermines your ability to navigate reality effectively. Peterson argues that lies, even small ones told with good intentions, compound over time and create increasingly complex webs of deception that require more lies to maintain. Truth-telling requires courage because honest communication often reveals uncomfortable realities about yourself, your relationships, or circumstances that you might prefer to avoid. The practice of truth-telling is ultimately about maintaining alignment between your inner reality and external expression, creating the foundation for authentic relationships and psychological integration that supports long-term mental health and personal growth. Point 9. Assume that the person you are listening to might know something you do not encourage as intellectual humility and genuine curiosity in conversations and relationships. Peterson argues that most people listen primarily to formulate their response rather than to genuinely understand the other person's perspective, missing opportunities for learning and connection. The rule challenges the ego's tendency to assume superiority, or to use conversations as opportunities to demonstrate your knowledge rather than to expand it. Through genuine engagement with different viewpoints, effective listening requires setting aside your preconceptions and agenda to truly hear what the other person is communicating. Recognizing that everyone's experiences and insights have the potential to teach you something valuable. This approach transforms conversations from competitions to be won into opportunities for mutual learning and growth. Point 10. Be precise in your speech addresses. The importance of clear communication and careful thought as tools for understanding and navigating reality effectively. Peterson argues that imprecise language often reflects and perpetuates fuzzy thinking, making it difficult to identify problems accurately or develop effective solutions. The rule encourages developing the habit of saying exactly what you mean rather than using vague or ambiguous language that obscures your actual thoughts and intentions. Precise speech requires taking time to think carefully about what you are trying to communicate and choosing words that accurately convey your meaning. This practice also serves as a tool for self-knowledge, forcing you to clarify your own thoughts and feelings rather than remaining content with unclear impressions or emotional reactions. Point 11. Do not bother children when they are skateboarding warns against the modern tendency to overprotect children and eliminate all risk from their development, potentially stunting their growth into competent and confident adults. Peterson uses skateboarding as a metaphor for any activity where children voluntarily take on challenges and risks as part of their natural developmental process. The rule recognizes that children have an innate drive to test their limits, develop competence, and learn to assess and manage risk through direct experience rather than through safety rules imposed by anxious adults. Peterson argues that overprotected children grow up without developing crucial skills for navigating an inherently dangerous and challenging world, leaving them fragile and dependent rather than resilient and capable. Point 12. Pet a cat when you encounter one on the street serves as Peterson's reminder to appreciate small moments of beauty and connection even during life. As most difficult periods, The final rule acknowledges that life inevitably includes suffering, loss, decay, and periods of darkness that can make existence feel overwhelming, without practices for finding light and hope. Peterson suggests that during difficult times, it becomes crucial to notice and appreciate small pleasures and moments of beauty that are available even when larger sources of meaning feel absent. The simple act of petting a friendly cat represents the kind of spontaneous, present-moment experience that can provide comfort and remind you of the goodness that still exists in the world despite its problems and pain. 12 Rules for Life provides a comprehensive framework for building a meaningful and responsible life through practical wisdom that addresses the fundamental challenges of human existence, offering readers a path toward greater competence, resilience, and fulfillment through the integration of ancient wisdom with modern psychological insights. Thank you for joining us in exploring this profound and challenging book that has helped millions of people take greater responsibility for their lives and find meaning in the midst of chaos. Remember to subscribe to our channel for more transformative book summaries that provide you with deep insights and practical wisdom from leading thinkers in psychology, philosophy, and personal development, helping you build the knowledge and perspective necessary for navigating life's complexities with greater wisdom and purpose. Books have the power to transform lives, and sharing knowledge makes it even more valuable. If this summary gave you new insights, hit the like button, share it with a friend, and subscribe for more wisdom from the world's best books.